Okay, so we're going to continue here working on the FK spine. So we have our basic walk cycle, doing the movement of the legs and the feet. I can go and soften those a little bit more, but I'm not going to do that until I get a bit more of a blocking of the upper body. So, so I'm going to focus now on spending a bit more time on my FK root and my shoulders, so that I can counter animate the movement in both directions. Before I animate the arms or even the head, I'm gonna just try to keep the spine, and then see how I do. And of course, one of the things I want to keep in mind is that I'm going to try to use keyframes on the same frames where I have an animation done. The feet have one little keyframe that was off, that we moved it to fix the roll there, but the upper body is going to stay on the same keyframe that the root has. So that makes it a bit easier for a couple of things. So the first what I'm going to do here is I'm going to counter animate the rotation of the spine. So you see that she's going on a value that the root is going negative. Right now it's going negative 18 versus positive 18, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm going to go and counter animate the the shoulders, and of course I'm going to start. If I say rotating positive 18, that would bring her to this 0, so I don't want that. So if I go to positive 36, she goes beyond the value, so I'm going to put it positive 36 there, and then I'm going to find the other foot when the other foot is in front. Which is, I think, my frame 13. The upper shoulder goes back to the negative 36 value, right? So she is counter animated there, and then it goes back again to frame 25, 36 positive. So from now on, at least for some time, I'm going to stick to those just main keyframes there, so that let us look at her a bit more easily. So let me see. I'm going to plate her back. So you see there how she's moving a bit more friendly. Of course, the arms will come from that, but again, as I said, I'm not doing the arms just yet, so I can spend a bit more time on it. I can animate the head, but before I animate the head and even animate the spine, I need to look at some of my additional reference, so that I can start doing a bit more of the spine, loosening up and down, side to side, and so on and so forth. So let me get a little bit of a reference here. So we did a little bit of the rotation of the shoulders. We have not done the arms yet, but I'm waiting, holding a little bit on that, and I'm going to give her a little bit of rotation on those hips. And this could be, there are different versions for it, but the tilt of the hip will give us some good guidance for the animation. So in this case, when the foot's passing, hips are flat. When the foot's going forward, the one that is going forward is a bit lower, opposite to the other side, and the shoulders are opposite to that. So let's try doing that here. So I'm gonna go and grab her FK, go to the main, so that one is when she's back. I'm gonna stick to, again, my graphic here shows me that when the foot's passing, she's flat. So I'm gonna try to identify what is she's passing. So in the moment here, frame 7 and frame 19, she will be flat. I'll try to get my graph editor here. So frame 7 and frame 19, rotation, in this case we're dealing with rotation in Z, right? And frame 7 and frame 19, this one and that one, she's going to stay, right? That means that in frame 1, in frame 13, and in frame 25, she's going to change. So let me try to do that. So I'm going to say in frame 1, let me go to the front view here to look at it better. So we said that in that one, the foot that is going in front is lower, the foot that stays behind is higher. So let's do that. So I'm going to say that means that rotation in Z, I can move it here or I can move it there, but I'm going to try moving it here a bit more. So we're saying that actually it has to be this way. I'm going to give it a number that is a bit more dramatic. I'm going to say negative 10. Sorry, let's tap it off here again. Negative 10. That makes it a bit more dramatic there. And I'm just going to say keyframe that. Oh, it's already keyframed. And then she's going to go from negative 10 to locked, and then here when she lands here in frame 13, that's going to be positive 10, right? And then of course at the end here we said is negative 10 again. So that makes it that, but of course that will make her, if I play back, she's going to snap back and forth. It's kind of, the hip is kind of working, but it's not quite right. So I'm going to do here, so I'm going to say, you know what, I don't need any of these keyframes for rotation Z, so I'm going to delete those. So that way she has a fluid back and forth there. I'm going to try to get her to do her walk right there. And if you look at her in her animation here, she is doing a pretty interesting role there in terms of hip movement. There are some additional things that I can do to it, but for now, that one is okay. Now, I'm going to now counter animate this the shoulders. Oops, not that. Let's see if I can find my page again. So the shoulders will be the opposite direction. So if the head, if the hip is, of course, and that means frames 7 and 13, they will be flat, and the other ones will be opposite. So let's try doing that one. So if I do, that means that this guy, I can do this one, but this one actually won't give me what I need because that's giving me the rotation. But if I rotate that one in this direction, she's going to be rotated there, but it's not going to work that way. So actually in this rig that we have, we're going to use the FK spine to correct that. So that means that these two guys, that one and this one, we're going to try to use for correcting that. So we're going to frame, we know that we have frames in 1, in frame 7, in frame 13, in frame, we forgot what was the other one, 19, and then frame 25. So that way I can correct a bit more. So we say that frame 7 and frame 19, they're going to be flat. Frame 1, I'm going to rotate in this direction. And you decide how much you want it to be. I rotated only on, I'm going to go back, rotate only on Z. So I'm going to try to do the rotation here on Z. I'm going to give her, she has to counter animate that. So I'm going to give her a value of 12. Keyframe that. So that means that here goes back to negative 12. then here's flat, and then it goes back here to positive 12. So I am kind of working on the spine as she's moving there, so that way I get her to do a more decent movement of the spine. Of course, the values will dictate a bit more, but depending on the values you want, she's now doing a pretty decent movement of shoulders versus hip. Right, I'm going to stop there. I'm just going to increment and save my file here, and I'll see you in the next video.